federalist nation. What we are is the United States. And each state has its own constitution. Each state has its own power. Each state deserves its own sovereignty. And that's the way it has to be in order for us to be a representative republic. A lot of people make a mistake and think that we are a democracy. We are the furthest thing from a democracy. The Constitution is the law of the land. What prompted that death threat against me was I made some remarks about Sharia law. I pointed out the fact that the law of the land is the Constitution and nothing supersedes the Constitution, not Sharia law. Sharia law is a religious law. We do not have religious law in the United States, and right now we have an Islamic president that is trying to shove down Sharia law, and now we have another candidate that will attempt to shove his version of what his religion is, and whatever that happens to be. We all know that he's a Mormon, but you know, each to his own. But the bottom line is that we have the right not to have religious law shoved down our throats. So I got in quite a bit of hot water with this Islamic group. They've taken over my computer several times. They've crashed me several times, and I'm having a hard time getting in touch with you folks over the internet. And finally, I'm able to get video out to you folks like I want to get it out there. But as I said, my primary goal is, and the very first thing that any president gets elected to this country, what they need to do, the very first thing that they must do is they must nullify every single law that was put in place, either voted in, either proposed by an illegal Congress right now because the president this last election was all null and void, or by executive order by Barack Obama. And the point is that anything done by Barack Obama is null and void, and we must return or nullify every single law that man has been a part of since he was elected in 2008. Until we do that, that is the cancer that is killing this country. And every surgeon can tell you that you are not going to cure the body unless you cut the cancer out first. And the very first thing we're going to have to do is cut that cancer out. Get rid of these people that have abrogated their duty to the Constitution of the United States, and go back to a system to where we actually abide by the Constitution and go by that document and live by it. That document was written in stone. It is not something that is changing and living like everyone would have you believe. To change the Constitution is a very hard thing to do. You have to do it by the amendment process, and that is a very difficult thing to do. And our founding fathers were very smart when they did this. It keeps us from willy-nilly making laws like we're doing right now. For the last 60 or so years, maybe close to 100 years, maybe even since Reconstruction after the Civil War, our federal government has taken way too much power and has slowly but surely usurped the power of the states. And what we're going to do is we're going to get back, and we're going to get the power back to the states where it really belongs. And then the second thing that we have to do, once we get rid of that cancer, is we're going to have to go after those people that are sitting on some beach in the Riviera drinking their pina coladas, in the banking industry and the auto industry, and everybody that's caused all this economic turmoil that we're all suffering through right now. And we're going to have to make them pay. They're going to have to pay back to the American people what they stole from us, what they were given in exchange to get a usurper elected president of the United States, to keep their mouths shut so we can't get justice in our court systems. And we're going to see to it that we get that done. Now that's the first two major things that any presidential candidate should be telling you that they're going to do first. All the other things that, like fixing the economy, dealing with the illegal immigration problem, Agenda 21, you know, the United Nations, our tax laws, everything else like that, all those things will be addressed, and I will be addressing them in further additional interviews that we have between you and me and the camera here at my home. Hopefully the next time I can have somebody pan in so you can see my smiling face and see how serious I am about all this. But understand this, folks. I can't do this alone. I need your help. I'm working as hard as I can as a common, ordinary citizen. As you can see probably behind me, I'm not a rich person. I'm a middle-class individual. I work hard for a living. I put in my 8 hours a day. I commute 4 hours a day each way. to work, and I put in a lot of time on this effort. That's because I'm serious. I do not want to see this country fall. My degree's in anthropology, archaeology more specific, and in history, and I can see the same things repeating over again. We are headed for the cliff. Our fingers on the edge of the abyss, and we're just hanging on by our claws. And just it's going to take just a strong breeze to blow us over that edge. And if we don't do something about it, and do something about it right now, it's never going to get done. So what I would like you folks to do is please, I hope my beagle doesn't knock over my camera. His name's Benny. Please forgive me for all the dogs moving around, but like I said, this isn't a house, this isn't in a studio. You're getting the real deal here, folks. You're talking to a normal, ordinary human being. But like I said, we're all going to have to work together to get this nation back into shape. And it's going to take us all working together. Now what I'd like you to do is to get a good idea of what's going on with my lawsuits, because none have been dismissed. A court in New Jersey has said that Barack Obama most likely will have to face up to the eligibility issue. A court in Alabama and in Tennessee both said that the eligibility issue is of a paramount importance and is not a trivial matter and must be looked into. So it's my opinion, folks, that they're gearing up to look at my cases one at a time, and they're not dismissing my cases because they're going to be using those as the watershed cases. So thank you very much for tuning in this time. If you need to get in touch with me, you can contact me at http://www.johndumett.org, or you can go to the libertylegalfoundation.org. I'm sorry, on my web address it's johndumett.us. The other address where you can read about the certification lawsuits is at Liberty Legal Foundation. That's libertylegalfoundation.org. And as well, you can go to www.usjf.com. That's with Gary Creep in the cases that I have in California, soon to be Arizona again, Alabama, and New Hampshire. So I hope you all have a good evening. I'll be back together with you again within the next day or so we can talk a little bit more about what I want to do for the country. Like I said, of paramount importance right now is to cut the cancer out that's killing this country, and once we do that, then we can get on to curing the body politic. So I'd like to say God bless you all. God bless the United States. Everybody have a good evening, and hopefully you'll check out the court cases and relish in the victory that we have. They're coming far and few between, but it seems like we're having a quickening right now, and things are starting to go our way. So God bless you all. Good evening, and goodbye.